Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, good people? It's your girl KB. You know what I do and you know why I do it. It is Monday morning, September 4th. Happy Labor Day. And it's 8:07 in the a.m. Been up for a goodly amount of time. As I mentioned in the introduction video, I had a rough night sleeping. And I had a lot on my mind. So I spent a great portion of my evening and my early morning hours in prayer. Hence the late production time. I am just getting into my daily readings, and I'm reading just for today. And funny, the title is Cluttered Spirits. Yeah. And I say yeah because that's where my mind was. That's why I couldn't sleep. There was so much present, and there was so much discovered in the presence of God. Amen. Some insight, some revelation, some joy, some resolve. And it's like, wow. Prayer is good for what ails you. So this reading is entitled Cluttered Spirits, and I based the title on just the opening statement. But I also want to add to my title. Let me just read the opening statement. It says, we try to remember that when we make amends, we are doing it for ourselves. So I entitled this recording, Healing via Amends. But I want to add to that title, Healing via amends. No D, amends. Healing through prayer. Amen. The writer says, as long as we still owe amends, our spirits are cluttered with things we don't need. And I want to say again, that self-imposed prison with the bars of guilt and shame, those are the things we don't need. Some of us are stuck in those prisons or that exile because we cannot make amends. Because in doing so, we're exposed. We're vulnerable. And the people that we've chosen to surround ourselves with, you've heard me talk about the people who benefit from us being sick, the people that we chose to surround ourselves with have exploited that vulnerability over time. So you don't know who to trust. I want to say we trust the people who are present in our time of crisis, in our time of instability, in our times of self-doubt. The people who support, encourage, bandage, and put us back on the path. Not the people who show up because they smell blood in the water and exploit the crisis. You've heard me again talk about people who benefit from us staying sick or staying in our role of sickness. And they benefit because they are elevated. They get to play God in our lives. And if we're used to a transactional relationship, those folks are always going to play God in our lives. Okay, let me start over so we can stay on track. It says we try to remember that when we make amends, we are doing it for ourselves. And I want to say that healing process. It says as long as we still owe amends, our spirits are cluttered with things we don't need. We're carrying the extra load of an apology owed and a resentment held or an unexpressed remorse. Let me share that again. You know, we all come with baggage, right? If you say you don't, I feel sorry for you. Because, you know, like those little airport carts that carry the luggage to the actual plane to go in the cargo hold, you have one of them following you and you don't even know it. We all come with baggage. We're all in recovery. It says, we're carrying the extra load of an apology owed. You need to make something right with somebody? Do it. Don't let the unspoken anchor you in a position of dysfunction. Do you have a resentment that you keep nurturing and nursing? First, I'm going to ask you to examine why it's there. Because I want to say 9 out of 10 times a resentment is birthed from our inability to extend that apology. We project, and so we're angry at somebody that we don't even need to be angry at. But they happen to be the straw dog or the sacrifice for our anger. Do you have any unexpressed remorse? Yeah, I talk about the guilt of the bars of guilt and shame for our prisons. You know, you can release yourself just by giving it to God and making amends. We struggle with so much unnecessary, I want to say stickiness. Now I'm thinking, I'm visualizing, you know, those what they call humane mouse traps, that sticky that sticky stuff. It's like, oh, it's humane, and you just throw the trap out. Okay, I don't know if you've ever really seen one of these things in action. They are not humane. The mouse walks in, it gets stuck, it can't extricate itself. Sometimes all you hear is the mouse screaming. And then sometimes you'll find a blood trail because the mouse has extricated himself by chewing off a limb or tearing off a limb, whatever happened to be stuck in that trap. Does that sound anything like the need to make amends? Does that sound like sin in your life? If we get stuck in this thing, this pattern of behavior, or we're nursing this resentment, and we know it's not right, and our souls are screaming out because we're stuck in it. Or there's a blood trail because we extricated ourselves, but we left a piece of us in it. The writer says it's like having a messy house. We could leave so we don't have to see the mess, which many of us do. Or maybe step over the piles of debris and pretend they aren't there. which many of us do until they get to the point where they're overwhelming, and then we leave the mess because we can't stand it. But ignoring the disorder won't make it disappear. Again, you left a piece of yourself there. And so you're bleeding, and the person is left with the mess to clean up. And they may get sick from cleaning up the mess. Is that a visual enough for you? It says in the end, the dirty dishes, the crumb-filled carpet, and the overflowing waste baskets are still there, waiting to be cleaned up. It says a cluttered spirit is just as hard to live with as a messy home. We always seem to be tripping over yesterday's leavings. Ooh, I like that term, yesterday's leavings. The remnants, the residue. Here, there's some more R words for you. Every time we turn around and try to go somewhere, there is something blocking our path. The more we neglect our responsibilities to make amends, the more cluttered our spirits become. And we can't even hire someone to clean it up. We have to do the work ourselves. And again, some of us, the work is doing a geographic, leaving. See, then we have crime scenes. There's a difference between needing to clean and a crime scene. Crime scene speaks of intentionality. The writer says we gain a deep sense of satisfaction from making our own amends, just as we would feel after we cleaned our homes and have time to enjoy a bit of sunshine through sparkling windows. So will our spirits rejoice at our freedom to truly enjoy our recovery. And once the big mess is cleaned up, all we have to do is pick up after ourselves as we go along. Yeah, some of us are hypervigilant in cleaning our areas, but don't show the same concern in cleaning our spirits. Or, again, dealing with the residue in order to enjoy resurrection, redemption, and restoration. How about that for some R words?